Today's training session is going to be on how to decide what skill to learn next, and how to break it down into sub skills. Are you guys ready? Skill tree gives you a clear sense of direction and makes it easier for you to judge the level of complexity required to learn a specific new skill. All right, that's complicated. We're going to go through that with examples, and yeah, it's going to be a lot clearer, hopefully, after I'm done. So the main benefits of the skill tree approach is that it makes you more aware of your current capabilities. It makes it easier for you to choose new skills to learn. Churn is the combination of choose and learn. I invented a new word. 3, it makes it easy for you to track progress. And 4, you can actually share it with people. And we're going to go through exactly what it looks like. Here's my beautiful, beautiful drawing of a skill tree. So I did that recently, but drawing was the first skill that I started learning when I started the SkillUp approach. And obviously, as you learned in the first session, drawing is that really a skill? That's a bit too broad, right? So when I decided I wanted to learn how to draw, I had to choose specific sub skills, which for me was you're seeing it here: sketching, line art, and coloring using Photoshop. That was my goal. So I had 15 hours of time to practice. So I decided these are the 3 sub skills that I'm going to learn. Good, simple. You can take a sip of water. All right, so in order for me to be able to achieve these, I had to define what are the sub skills that I should learn before I get there. And these are about drawing on pen and paper, but in my case, it was on Photoshop. So instead of pencil gripping here, you can picture holding the mouse. Why not? It's a skill, right? It's a very easy skill, but it's a skill. Second one, you can picture mouse handling. This one's a real skill. How to move your mouse at good precision levels. If you've been using a computer for a while with a mouse, you might not realize how hard it was to start with. But when you think about how you began, you'll realize that, yeah, it's actually, you've learned to do that. It was a skill. So with me drawing on Photoshop using a mouse, it would be really hard to sketch without being able to do that. So if we look at the components in that drawing, so I'm going to go into detail. So each rectangle is a skill. It's a sub-skill, right? All of them are sub-skills. The line, so you read that from top to bottom. So the line shows the direction in which you should be learning things. So this is the last thing that you would be learning in order. The number here, so you see 3. What that means is that I need to be of level 3 in the skill above in order to be able to do this one properly, right? If I can't move my mouse properly, it's going to be really, really difficult to start sketching. So same with coloring, same with line art. So this is the level I require in here to be able to do that. Now in here you see little squares next to each of the rectangles, each of the skills. So these signify your expertise level. So if I look at line art here, it has nothing. That means I've never done line art in my entire life. Sketching here means, so one square means I'm a beginner. 2 squares mean, it means I'm intermediate. 3 means expert. And 4, I've got nothing else to learn. I'm like a complete pro in it. So 4 is actually pretty rare. I personally probably would never put 4 anywhere, but hey, it's subjective. So I'm pretty good at moving my mouse. So I put 3 here. I'm an expert at moving mouse. I should do a training on how to move your mouse. That would be an incredibly fun. Who's up for this? Yeah, I won't do that. You want me to do that? No, I won't do that. It would be boring. So we're 17 minutes in. So I wasn't sure if I had time to show you another example. So I'm going to skip the other example because I want to keep this as short as possible. So instead of showing the next example, I'm going to show you how to build a skill tree for yourself in just 5 steps. Okay. So the first step, basically picture what we did with basketball, with a throwing basketball one. So we brainstormed in our heads what's required to throw a perfect basketball. All right. That's step number 1. Super easy. You can do that pen and paper. You can use an app, just a bullet list of everything. And now when you're ready to start drawing, you start from top to bottom, just as I was mentioning. You start drawing the skeleton and the links between them. So if we go back here, you start by drawing this rectangle, this rectangle, this rectangle, and you link them with a simple line. Number 3, you rate the expertise level you need to have from bottom to top. So once you're done going from top to bottom, now you're back to the bottom, right? So you decide for faces what level of proficiency you need to have in controlling line weight to be able to do it. So put 1 here, 1, 1, 1, 1, and to the 3s that I mentioned earlier. So I need level 3 mouse handling to be able to sketch until you're all the way to the top. All right. So top to bottom, bottom to top. Number 4, rate your current level in each of the subskills in the tree. So that's the little squares here. So once you've done that, the magic, it really starts to happen. You're aware of what you have done before, what you've previously learned, and you know what you need to actually focus on to do the other subskills. So once you have this, you're actually aware if you're going to be able to learn the skill you set out to learn in the amount of time that you have. So as an example, if I decided to do these 3 like this, but if this was not expert level, so if I wasn't good at mouse handling, maybe I should reconsider that in 15 hours if I can actually do that. So if I had never touched the mouse before, I don't want to learn sketching, line art, and coloring, it's not realistic in 15 hours. So instead of focusing on all 3, that's when I would realize, you know what, let's not do line art. Let's not do coloring. Let's just focus on sketching and mouse handling. And maybe another month, I would do the rest. Make sense? That level of awareness, I think, is really important. And a lot of people don't know. They really don't. And step number 5. So review the skill tree daily or weekly as you practice the subskills. So this is a living document. This is something that you keep updating. So you see these squares or this expertise level, you got to keep changing that depending on where you are right now. So if I were to revisit this one right now, my sketching would probably be a 2. Line art might actually be a 3. It was surprisingly easier than I thought. And coloring might be 3 as well. So always revisit your skill tree so that if ever you want to continue your drawing lesson, your drawing training a bit later on, you can always refer back to it and you know where you left at. So 5 steps to build it, really simple. Top to bottom, bottom to top, rate yourself and review. Other tips on building a skill tree, and I'm going to try to go through really quickly. So we talked about Googling things. It's not a bad thing. So start with that. Do some research on how other people are learning things that you want to learn and just list all the resources. But don't think more of that. Just start from there. Second, ask people around you how they learn the skills. So if you have friends that learn to speak English, to play the guitar, learn to draw, ask them, how did they learn it? Was it useful? What did they like or not like about the approach? And always go as deep as you can. So throwing basketball, not that deep, but by analyzing the image, we could figure out that jumping was involved, flexing legs was involved, the movement, raising arms and pushing and all that. We could like always think of all the different components. It's actually really important. And as mentioned just earlier, start with just a simple bullet list because it's so much easier to rearrange a list than it is to redraw things, right? Number 4? Nope, that's number 5. I messed up my numbering, so let's pretend it's number 4. So when you start drawing on the page, be mindful that it will take a lot of space. So try to space things out as it grows and then bring it back together. If we look at the example that I actually didn't show, see how much space that takes? And I actually didn't have enough space. So when you do start, make things really broad. Draw with a pencil. It's so much easier to erase than with ink, right? So draw with a pencil. And it's really important to note that you won't get it on first try. I don't think I've ever been able to do it on first try, and it was perfect. Okay, so it is normal that when you build it, you'll realize that things are not in the right place. You forgot to think about specific sub-skills. It will happen, so it's okay. Do it quickly. Don't do perfect lines. So last point here, don't do perfect lines because you will redraw it, okay? Well, these are some tips when you do it. And that's actually all I've got for you. So skill trees are really important to build your awareness of where you stand in your skill development and where to go next. That's how you can decide, I want to focus on these specific skills within the skill that I want to practice. All of this makes sense?